year, almost a year since then. So, essentially what we did, we were planning for a pilot launch at the time when we last spoke. We ended up at Illinois State University launching a pilot. At the time, we were selected as entrepreneurs in residence under Shapiro and Associates, so one of the premier research firms in town. And essentially what we did was we took a research-backed approach to the company's launch. So what Shapiro had historically
So
done.
Stop for a second. What do you mean a research-backed approach?
So what we did, we would bring in students from different tiers of schools, so Northwestern, University of Chicago, the Paul Loyola community schools, and we would do a lot of different focus groups and surveys to basically get in depth on what their learning behaviors were and why there's been a barrier to the digital adoption for these students. And so with that,
what was the answer?
Well, a lot of different answers. So primarily, though, the first barrier is the pricing point. So if you look at a student's learning behaviors right now, they've basically mastered a methodology of preparing for an exam. And they've done that with a paper notebook, paper book. If you look at what happened with consumer ebooks, right, they're basically incentivized by a $9.99 Amazon Kindle ebook price.
Sure.
So right now, these students, they prefer the physical book to prepare for an exam. And then the pricing point of a used physical book is far cheaper than a digital textbook. So there's really nothing incentivizing them to convert to being digital users.
Why would that be the case? That a used book is cheaper than a digital textbook?
Oh, yeah. So if you look at the industry, right, it's an $8.2 billion textbook industry.
I'm confused, but I understand.
Right. So $5.6 billion of that is the used market. So a learning company provides the content. So publisher learning company, they can sell it basically in the first 12 months that it's out on the shelves. But once it's out there, it gets picked up by all these online retailers. Even bookstores are selling used books. And so those prices come dramatically low. And then a digital textbook right now is oftentimes about 50% off the new list price, but it's still not as cheap as like a Chagger and Amazon used book price. So it creates a lot of issues in the industry where it's tough to gain that recurring revenue. And then a ton of money is being dumped into investing into some really great, next wave adaptive learning technologies. But when students prefer the physical book, it's hard to kind of expedite that actual inherent demand.
So what do you guys do that's different?
So what we do is, instead of a student having to basically make a fast judgment call on whether they buy a used book or don't buy a book, because the supply runs out. So a student goes to class, they have to decide, okay, I'm going to buy a book right now, or I'm not going to buy it. What we do is we take the pressure off. A student can hold off from buying anything. They read